Yeah, it's definitely very important. I think that your entire draft can be shaped by what you pick first. If you're not able to get something that is flexible or that can go with a lot of different compositions, I'm curious where these two teams' focuses lie in terms of, we have so many strong picks nowadays in this meta. What do they want to take away? What are they ignoring? We don't see any Anivia ban yet. We saw that twice in the first series.
Yeah, I think the big bans at the moment, I mean, Karma, Rumble are being banned so much. So I expect them to be gone. The Azir being banned already is interesting because then you start to think that there's Orianna, there's Karma, there's Anivia. One of those is getting through. We saw Anivia ban last series. It's not always banned. That's something to take into account. So I wouldn't be surprised if that made it through. But Karma, Orianna, those are the ones I'm thinking about. If Orianna goes through, what is it going to get played into? Ezreal getting banned away here specifically, making you think that perhaps T1 want to prioritize maybe like the Orianna first pick and want to combo with something like a Jarvan, Nocturne, and lean into, hey, we want to punish your carries, especially Azir's gone as well. Varus, who operates at a distance, not available. Ezreal gone. What are you going to play into that? What are you going to have that's safe and can survive against that threat? So Orianna does get taken away in this situation. Karma is one of the ones that's available. That's a standout. Ryze, though, is the mid laner who is going to get picked up by Faker. A pick that I think more than anything, we've seen Faker represented as in cinematics.
Yeah, I mean, he's really good at the pick, too. I think it really fits his play style as well, where you can kind of just sit in the side lane, farm up, and kind of bait people over and, make really big brain rotations. Now, that is going to leave Anivia up, and also Karma, and Bard, which we didn't even talk about, or at least I didn't. I'm not sure if you did, Aux, but that's Keria that's on the rift, and also Duro is also fantastic at Bard, so just going to play it.
I really like this pickup of the Bard because it denies it from Keria for the series. And also, if you catch the Ryze out isolated, the ultimate's about as big as the Realm Warp. So you can just neutralize it, catch him out, stop him from Realm Warping away. So definitely value there in that pick. And we'll see, are Gen.G going to look to secure something here? Canyon, they instead go for the Anivia, so they all want to lock that down. So kind of a double whammy in terms of denying support picks. They do weaken the strength of the Anivia a little bit by kind of solidifying it as likely a mid lane pick. Now, it has been flexed at top, but I think that's less likely here. But it's into the Ryze, right? We've seen this played a good amount. Chovy's played it a good amount. It's a matchup he's happy with. But essentially, this has the impact for the series, thinning the support pool out, limiting Keria's options, while also being satisfied with both your mid lane matchup and the Bard does pretty well into the Jarvan. Jayce comes through for Doran, and I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up seeing the Yorick here. I think a team like HLE would just slam the Yorick. We literally saw them do that in this situation. That being said, Gen.G could look to prioritize a jungler instead. If you want to grab a jungler before the pool gets thinned out, that is also an option. And it looks like they're going to put more of a priority on that. So a bit of sacrificing of Kiin here to make sure that Canyon can get a pick, and he will go for that Zhao, the Demacia matchup into J4 here.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, Zhao, we were a little surprised that it got ignored, essentially, in the first series, especially in the hands of Lucid, who went for the Nocturne instead, and they had Lulu. So in this case, really going to show off the priority of this pick and say, we really want to get our hands on Zhao before the second phase of bans.
It does also keep the Anivia alive as a flex. When we did see the Anivia, it was specifically into the Jayce. So again, I'm expecting it mid. But if we are going to see it flex, the possibility is still floating. And it looks like the Yorick is going to get banned out as well. So that option's immediately getting removed. So, that, again, it's fringe. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but the possibility is still being floated. But it probably is just mid-Anivia. For Gen.G, they're thinning the support pool even more. So Lulu going to get taken out in this situation. You could just go the Lulu Nami bans. I feel like those second rotation bans really popular. Because rather than banning a ton of AD carries, which you don't really have the bans for, you could just trim those supports. Instead, they go for the Nautilus. I'm not a huge fan of the Nautilus ban here, because Nautilus into Anivia is miserable. And especially with the Jarvan there as well, so much terrain actually makes it very hard to play Nautilus. But maybe just concerned about the kill pressure in lane into the Bard. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Nautilus ban in this situation.
So it looks like maybe we get a top laner here. Focus on Kiin. And again, we could see that Anivia flexed up there. A little bit of a discussion going on, and they're going to save their AD carry pick actually for last, I would imagine, as Cassante or Sion.
I think Sion is what we more often see into the Jayce as that pick who can just sort of survive, weather the storm, be that big front line. I think something that Sion can really struggle into is the Anivia, so the fact that you've secured it yourselves feels a lot better. Definitely not something you want to be playing when it's potentially on the other side.
You can actually have some decent synergy with that as Kalista. This did get buffed, I believe.
Is
did. This the patch? Yeah.
It did on this patch.
Kalista.
Is it just going to be Kalista Renata then? Could be Kalista Nico.
Yeah.
That is also an alternative.
Nico got a lot of value, even though D+K did lose in game 1 with that pick. Keria was playing very well. Bit of discussion. I think Renata Glasc is just too good with Kalista. Nico is very strong individually, but this duo, insanely strong. And it will be locked in. So now we get the AD carry last pick. And it might just be Corki. I mean, that's fine. It's not going to be with Nami. But still a decent pick and definitely a ruler favorite.
Yeah, so they just buffed the AD ratio on Kalista's Ren, but its subsequent AD ratio on the spears, so it does build up a lot. It is pretty significant. You don't build a ton of AD typically on Kalista, but it's still going to represent a decent amount of value. Corki comes in as just like a safe AD carry. You know, the Ezreal was banned as something that can obviously circumvent the Jarvan. Corki also does an okay job of circumventing it. I don't think it's the greatest game to be playing Kalista into what Gen.G have, but they don't have that much point-and-click lockdown that's easy to like keep Peyz held to account. We've also seen Peyz have some fantastic Kalista games in his history. But yeah, I think really T1, you know, playing towards bot lane, you have the Ryze. If you can get the Ryze moving down towards bot lane, set it up for success, you can really get the ball rolling with his team composition. If the Jayce, you can get him ahead as well, get some momentum. That poke, you don't have great engage to answer. You're kind of relying on the Tempered Fate to fish for these engages, or the Sion for leading the charge. And those aren't the most reliable forms of engage. That being said, I think if things if you don't get some momentum going, you know, the Ryze, the Kalista into Anivia, Sion, don't feel super comfortable. I think Gen.G, you know, if they weather the storm, I think they should be doing pretty okay. I think the emphasis is more on T1 to push the pace off this game forward.
Well, we'll see if they can manage that, or if these picks from Gen.G individually can get the job done. Looks like we're ready. Let's hop into the rift for game number 1. Okay, that's going to be flash out of Doran, just to get things started.
Nice move there, honestly. The Anivia is such a threat, level 1, having that long stun, especially with a Sion who can chain it. So getting Doran's flash early, a big win immediately for the side of Gen.G. We'll see if they can capitalize on that. Also in the bot lane, you know, it's Spellbook for Renata still. But we've seen a lot more bards going electrocute. You know, Spellbook did get nerfed a decent amount. But I think a lot of it has been like the emphasis on trading in lane being a lot more prevalent this season. So we'll see how much the electrocute just helps with like trading into this lane specifically. I still feel like it's a Kalista Renata, you do have to respect it. But if you can kind of like get the short trades in, you know, the quick little like Q auto back away.
Yeah.
It can be pretty okay.
As long as you're not overcommitting and getting caught by handshakes or Kalista running you down should be, in general, pretty good. Chovy very aggressively trading here up against Faker, who's going in for a trade of his own. Gets the egg, perfectly calculated, gets away. So that's going to be pretty nice. Maybe a little follow-up from Oner when Chovy doesn't have his egg.
Yeah. Do you remember the series the other day when Faker went down to 1 HP?
Yes.
Literally 1 HP.
Literally.
Yeah. Not quite there.
And then 30 right after that as well?
Yeah, not quite there at this point, but definitely playing, I would say with fire, but I guess with ice in this situation.
Yeah.
But gets the egg, gets the reset in this situation. We'll see if T1 are able to capitalize on the lack of egg in this scenario. Unfortunately, only has enough money for the boots. Boots still a lot of value in this matchup specifically, being able to dodge the stun, but obviously not being able to get that early tier that you'd kind of love on a Ryze. But I think honestly for lane itself, having the boots is going to help you more in the trades.
Yep. Can always run his way back a little bit later on if he needs another back for that tier. Do see the junglers just essentially full clearing. We don't see Canyon getting those grubs just yet, but gonna go for the Rift Scuttler. We'll see if they have a big effect. Obviously, if you guys missed the first series, Kanavi totally took over both games early on and then just for the rest of the game as well. So he got 13 out of 13 on the palm votes. It wasn't close. Like, there was no real option for anyone else just because his performance was so good. So excited to see if Oner and Canning can do something similar.
So far, lane's looking fairly even. You know, Rule and Duro are doing a pretty good job of trading in the bot lane 2v2. Seeing the boots value there from Faker, dodging away. They aren't able to get the plate in the top lane, picking that up early, so pretty positive. Especially being flashless. I mean, we haven't seen Canyon move over there. But it's always a bit of a concern getting too close to the tower when there's the potential to threat the enemy jungler or just a Sion clearing the wave out and stunning you. So, you know, sometimes being flashless just means you have to play the lane very passive. Haven't seen that as of yet.
Just a lot of trading in mid. This is really all we're looking at. Is Faker seeing a lot of damage here from the minions. But Chovy gonna have to go for a back.
Yeah, and bear in mind, Chovy has TP. Faker only has Ghost, which he did use there. Duro's there to cover, but Oner, I don't think you go for it. You could just stop the recoil. Oh.
It's a nice little root in the wall there as well.
If you stop the recoil with a flag, honestly, it would have been massive. But it's just a little bit late. There's that like little buffer time where damage alone won't stop a recall. Keria attacks a lot of damage. But it's just going to be able to walk it off.
Very interesting ward there from Chovy. Wanted to try to get a backstop himself, but that is a control ward, so...
Yeah, Faker took the safe route around. Oh.
Little team gank here coming in from Canyon. Gonna get the flash out of Keria, but Duro uses his own, so T1 able to avoid any danger down here.
And I think a lot of times, you know, you'd be like, okay, we've been Sports Flash, has a bard, let's see if we can punish, but it's a very finite window when you're playing into Kalista Renata because, you know, you have the Kalista ult later on. Oh, 6 picked up for Chovy. This is where the matchup gets painful.
Yeah, trying to bait him into a fight, those owners here. And eventually Chovy's like, yep, I'm level 6 Anivia, you can't do anything at this point in time.
Yeah, I think, honestly, this is a bit of the pain point. Really, we saw a lot of the heavy trading early. I think that was kind of just Chovy finding angles and Faker trying to fight out the trades. But once 6 is hit, I know Ryze does get more damage on his overload, but just having the ult access for Anivia makes a big difference. Not too much action so far, other than just some poking and prodding. Yeah. Which I think is good for Gen.G. Oh, Doran could be... I was going to say a little bit of danger. His flash is back up, though, I think, is the big thing. Otherwise, I think Kiin would have just sent the ult. 100%. Honestly, I think he probably potentially could have to try and burn the flash.
Faker is maybe in some trouble here. He's just going to accept his fate, and that's first blood going over to Canyon.
I think once the Wind Becomes Lightning hits, he knew that if he flashes, he just gets flashed after dies anyway. So held his flash instead, but I guess could have flashed the Wind Becomes Lightning and survived. But I think had to be aware of the skill shot before and know the kill limit then. But opted to hold his flash, which I think was honestly the correct call.
We got fighting between these junglers here. Canyon really trying to pressure, and now that Chovy's coming down, obviously T1 will have to back away.
I think they could maybe lean towards Dragon on the back of this with how chunked out T1 is. They have a Honey Fruit as well to back them up, so they will look for that. Chovy might get chunked out here, but he does have Egg, so it's not too much of a big deal.
Yeah, he's got that back, and so that early trade from Faker to get the Egg doesn't really do all that much. Now you see Oner over the wall. Yeah, they're just gonna Fate's Call and throw in Keria, but it's not gonna get smited away, and now we do have the Bard ult to come down. The Crescent Guard Canyon does go in, and Ruler, Valkyrie's in. Double stun does come out here from Duro. Not able to get Peyz, though, as Chovy in a bit of trouble. He's going to have to flash the wall. Ruler with the big one, so close. But they do just walk it off.
Honestly, super close fight. T1 just about surviving, making Gen.G pay for taking the dragon, but nearly paying for themselves. Yeah, this was the play earlier, where once the Wind Becomes Lightning hits, I think he's dead. I mean, maybe he could have... No, actually, I think there's no way you get out. Once the initial W hits, anything you do just results in you trading Flash for dying anyway. The big thing here is the portal duration, because Ruler ends up going in, and then after he goes in, the portal times out just... Like, look, it's gone. Like, it times out as he takes it.
Wow.
Otherwise, he would have just died. I mean, maybe he could flash over the wall, but very lucky on that timing. Like, it survives just long enough for him to get away. So I think a lot of members of T1 being like, man, we were lucky to survive there. I think Ruler, very lucky to survive there too. Licking that wound to disengage. And the end result is a 1 kill for Dragon, which is a lot less blood than maybe we expected in the moment.
Yeah, especially with T1, you know, they were really gearing up for that fight. I wasn't really expecting it at that point, but they said, you know, we have Kalista and Renata, we have Fate's Call, we're ready to go.
I mean, I think the crazy thing is they threw this level 5 Renata in with no flash.
Yeah.
And I have to look at the scoreboard. Yeah, Keria didn't die. I saw the play. I saw Keria not dying.
Yeah.
I see the scoreboard, Keria didn't die, but it's still kind of amazing to me.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
You know,
it's like a glitch in the Matrix or something. Like,
yeah. I think Keria kind of, he threw himself in, expecting to die.
Doran's going to get burst down big time here, super low, and now he's going to level up to level 9, might help him out a little bit, but eventually has to flash and just dies to the follow flash, and that's Kiin with the solo kill.
Clean from Kiin there, finding the solo kill onto Sion. The rest of T1, not really what you want to see. But honestly, not as surprised. I feel like we see so many Sions solo killing Jayces.
Yeah.
Let's do the LCK. Oh, fight coming in here.
There's a guard available. Canyon might be able to get out. He's just going to go in saying, well, I'm dead. And with no flash and a lot thrown at him, he is not going to get out.
Bit of an overstep, and the thing is he went in, but unfortunately that just means he's in rend range, right? So Peyz can actually pop it. He doesn't have to, like, wait for the ult to time out. We'll see the replay of the all-in here. So the stun doesn't actually come through.
But
that's slow, yeah. And then once the ult hits, you get the full channel Q.
Okay.
Kiin just catching him there. And then here, Canyon overstaying. Big thing is he has no flash in the situation. Once the handshake connects, the Cataclysm's there too. And there, yeah, then he dives in. I mean, Peyz doesn't even rend when the Crescent Guard is up, but the fact he dives in, it just kind of means like he knows he's dead. Everyone knows he's dead. And the rest of Gen.G are like, well, see you later, buddy. You're on your own.
Yeah. They knew he was dead too. We did see a Tempered Fate from Duro, an attempt to try to delay things at least, but...
Dead 2, is that the sequel to Dead 1?
Yes. Is the sequel... Okay, Ro's going to take 2 turret shots, and now Doran wants to get in and trade this, and he will! And even the flash used by Ruler
Well,
not the cleanest one, but they got him.
With every play, there is an element of the positive and the negative. You know, so credit to Doran for finding that angle. But I don't know what Duro was doing right there. And I'm not sure he does either, so...
Well, he accidentally took turret aggro, and that was kind of the...
You know what's the thing as well? I'm going to share the blame a little bit. I'm pretty sure Duro had his ult up and available and could have just thrown that.
Yeah, I think he should have had it.
And he could have just, like...
I mean, yes, he used in the bot side.
Like, Ruler was far enough away.
No, so he doesn't.
Oh, it wasn't up?
No, it looks like it's pretty close based on the cooldown.
It's always really hard to tell the timers in the replay. I guess it wasn't quite up.
Yeah, I think it's like pretty close. Maybe like 10 seconds out. Meanwhile, on live, Duro has his ult now, but he doesn't have his life. Yeah. And now we got a TP behind, as this hasn't been the cleanest game we've ever seen, but it is a game.
Oh,
as Kiin's going to go in, and... well, they can't really do any damage to him, so that's
They broke his shield.
Yeah. Just his presence. I mean, Doran doesn't have TP, so...
And this is buying time for Duro to get back here. That being said, Doran's getting a lot of gold off the back of this, so...
Yeah.
Also, it's Hextech Mountain Dragons. This
okay, they'll just roll Infernal. Yeah.
Wow.
Caster Blessing.
Just
You're welcome, Gen.G.
Just hit. It's that easy. So we'll see how this happened. Duro was on a little walk. Actually, you know what I think the correct play was? I think the correct play was to walk back left.
Yeah.
But this is me looking from spectator point of view. And I can see everything and act in hindsight, so, you know.
You would have made the right choice.
Sure. Kind of cheating, but either way, some good picks coming out from T1, and on the back of that, you know, tower take from Doran on the top side, they have a goal. They are down in Dragons, and Gen.G just managed to manifest an Infernal Soul, which is very impressive, actually. You know, could have easily been not Infernal Soul. I do think that composition isn't the worst, you know, with the tanky front line. Even with like Chemtech Ocean, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Yeah,
but
you got Kalista for the Chemtech Soul, you know. The value, the bailout.
I'm talking about Gen.G's comp.
Oh.
Yeah, the tanky front line.
I see.
But even then, I think they're very happy. The prospect of the Infernal Soul after the double strong dragons. So, you know, they're pretty happy they're coming into those early dragons. And it also means that, you know, the threat of T1 getting a soul is extremely delayed. So even though T1 have a gold lead, difficult for them to leverage it into a game end because Soul is so far away. You know, forcing a Baron is a realistic prospect when you have Kalista, to be fair, but getting stuck in the pit against this Gen.G composition is a bit of a nightmare. I think Herald is definitely a point of priority just to push the pace of the game, especially into like Anivia, who often can slow games down quite a bit. Put them to a glacial pace.
I like that.
Yeah. So we do see them making a move towards it. The question is, will Gen.G look to contest this? They're trying to get some vision in the area. They are moving, making moves over there.
Yeah, this time Canyon's not going to overstep, but he's going to hit that Wind Becomes Lightning, and Oner just has to flash out.
Yeah, good moves there.
Definitely the safe call. He wants to make sure he has a health bar if he's going to be in this fight. Wall does come down, but eventually will time out, and then Oner and the squad can get in. Little stun as Oner's going in, and it goes to 5, but it still goes the way of Canyon. As now Oner super low, trying to drag his way out once again. The hostile takeover is going to help, but now Canyon in an awkward spot. Some flashes away. Big stun on the Peyz, as now he's got the bailout, though. Picks up 1 kill, but he can't get away. That's just going to be Gen.G cleaning up in the Rift Herald pit. And even Doran has to flash away as the flash wall comes out from Chovy, and that'll be the end of Doran as well.
Huge teamfight win for Gen.G. I think T1 gave a lot of space. We're trying to re-engage, thought this is better if we actually let them go into the pit. But Gen.G just played this so well. I think Canyon got so much value in this situation. So we see Gen.G trying to, you know, initially they try and stop Oner getting in. Ruler disengages, the rest of the team trying to give space. And then Canyon goes into the pit to kill Oner. It looks like he's going to flash over the wall. He doesn't even have flash. He's just buying time. And they end up getting corralled into the pit themselves. The exact fate they were trying to avoid by kind of disengaging from the Herald and re-engaging. They end up in that scenario anyway, trapped in the pit. And it's just cleanup from Gen.G. You look at the fact that Ruler wasn't really threatened. Duro was just on their side doing his thing. Even Chovy only really lost HP to Doran. I think the backline of Gen.G were just untouched, and Kiin and Canyon doing a beautiful job of handling the aggro throughout that. So really well played, considering they went into that fight with a deficit, and they come out in a gold advantage, and they got the Herald to boot, which nearly went over to T1. Very close, the health went to there, so...
And if you think about the pace of these dragons, like, now is the perfect time, as the handshake is going to hit Ruler, actually, kind of backfiring there, but he does chunk out Keria. But... yeah, this is like the perfect time to be very strong. Like, Kiin is unkillable. Like, there's nobody who can kill him. The Ryze is not online yet, but only the Rod of Ages, and you have Kalista with the Bork, but at the same time, like, if you're in range of the Sion, it's going to take forever, first of all, and I don't think you're going to have enough time to take him down, so should be maybe just the Infernal Soul point to Gen.G.
Yeah. I mean...
vision they have around that as well.
I know Sion obviously scales well, and having a big tank in the late game is great. But I feel like this point in the mid game, before like carries are online, before they have like pen or anything, no one can cut through him. It's just so hard to actually just kill Kiin. Like Peyz doesn't even have second item. He is so far away. Like it takes so many auto attacks to kill Kiin, and he's still doing pretty good damage at this part of the game. So just an absolute brick wall right now. For the side of T1 to try and cut through. They're not even going to contest Dragon, so, you know, Gen.G had the potential to slow the game down, to be like, hey, if we need to give up Dragons, if we can't fight them, that's fine. Well, they're taking Dragons for free. 3 Dragons in pocket, gold lead, composition that scales really well. This game is in a phenomenal spot, and I think there's some key power spikes coming through for T1. You know, we just had the Ginsus for Peyz. Doran's just gotten his second item. Leveraging these spikes is just about the last window that T1 has, I feel, before this game's going to slip away. What is unfortunate is Soul is going to be on the cards before Actualize is a thing.
Yeah.
For Ryze. We all know how broken that Actualize spike is for Ryze, but...
it just takes too long.
Yeah, for this pace of the game, it's not going to be on the cards unless, like, Oner gets a crazy steal. But the problem is, the next dragon is going to be when Baron is up. So you steal the dragon and you die, you give a Baron.
Yeah.
And then the game is maybe just lost. So
yeah, it kind of feels like they're in between a rock and a hard place in this one for T1. I mean, there's really not a good answer.
Kind of feels like they're between like the Anivia wall and the Sion.
Yeah,
right now.
And that might happen eventually.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited for that to happen. Actually,
that seems likely.
They're never going to deal enough damage to Sion. You know, they have some amount of pick potential, but it's not an insane amount. As Chovy just getting in there, taking a full rotation, as now Temper Fate's going to come out. Trying to make a play here with the stun, as he does avoid it by hopping forward, but still Doran is taking an immense amount of damage. Flashes forward, though, and at least gets the kill, but he still dies to Chovy.
Yeah, so gets a trade kill, ends up beating the flash for it, but, you know, make it a little bit exciting in the 2v1. Duro does end up saving his flash in that situation. We'll see if they can punish Doran on the back of that being summoner, but still showing the potential of that Jayce damage if it's disrespected. Now, Herald is going to come down mid. They're going to TP Chovy in for this. And unfortunately for T1, they're not the ones with the champions who can stop a Herald, you know.
Yeah.
We've seen a few. The Yorick one, right?
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Bard is the classic, but it's Gen.G who have more tools in that regard. Chovy was just fishing. And he found a Jayce.
I feel like Doran plays this very well.
Yeah, he does. Honestly, just the burst there doesn't give any window for Duro to flash, to be honest. would have to just like complete reaction it, which I think would be crazy to do.
Yeah. Trying to make a play on a Faker here, but there is Oner in tow. As everything's dodged by Ghost. Ryze very fast with the Ghost and the phase rush. And so they just back away from that play.
Okay, I mean, good Ghost value from Faker to dodge away from that. Gen.G's just still fishing for these plays. There's no huge emphasis on them getting this. But just anything they can burn is positive. But I think also... he has Flash.
Yeah, and he's got phase rush too. Just going to use that to get away. They get the TP though.
This is not a good spot.
As, yeah, Doran, no flash. Remember, he used it earlier. He's just dead. And now look at this, the fucking Sion, the train from the right side of the screen. Didn't even see that. As now Oner gonna trap everyone and immediately die. As Keria gets in, Peyz gets in, and one by one, the T1 dominoes fall. Gen.G get the fight on their terms, and they dominate.
Fortunately for T1, pretty far in the hole already before this fight. The TP just was not a great spot for a Jayce to be churning up. And as much as Oner, in terms of cataclysms per person, you know, got a lot of value.
He's like, I did my job.
So they slide in here, and it's just look at the comparison for the TPs, right? This is not where you want to be if you're a Jayce, and this is exactly where you want to be if you're a Sion. You know, immediately gets the flash from Faker in the midst of the fight, and then here, Oner's like, I can get all of them in a Cataclysm. They get this big knockup, but there's just not the follow-up. There's not the damage. Faker wasn't able to join in on the fight. Jayce was already dead. You're down in gold. It looked cool when he got the Mega Cataclysm, but I think the odds were just so low of it working.
Yeah. This is just suffocating for T1. Gen.G are pretty much playing this perfectly. Like, there have been a couple of moments, but really, it's just been them winning the lanes where they needed to, getting the objectives that mattered, and having such a powerful mid-game spike that T1 never had a chance.
I think it came down to that big fight around Herald, the execution there, and so many Gen.G games have come down to just this super crisp execution in these big fights. Now, Kiin, his health bar is moving. I can see it.
I think it was an illusion, actually. I didn't see it much.
Moving in slow motion, maybe.
Yeah.
The problem is, this is Infernal Soul. Doran is pushing in the side lane, but they are suffering heavy defeats in the meantime in their own base. And that's going to be another tower down.
Yeah.
Well. Oh, Doran.
Well, he's got the Cinders to help him out, right? We got a little Realm War play here on a Chovy, who does not have his flash, so a nice little pick. Oner getting pretty low, but eventually has the bailout, which might time out. Chovy, though, should be. No, they're not even going to get the egg. He just walks it off. They don't have the damage. And now the flash forward here. Oh, wow. Going to catch him in transition, and now Doran is, he's just dead again. Number 6 for him.
That transition was so crazy. We're all looking at the Kalista, like, where are we going? You know, action across the rift right now, but it looks like Gen.G.
This is just a masterclass. I mean, not the most entertaining game, to be honest. It's just suffocation.
I think this is just what we expect from these compositions, right? T1 tried, they got an early lead, but not able to capitalize on that big fight. And if you make that one big mistake, Gen.G will crush you now. Faker.
Here's the, not much you can do about that. He does live, though. And, well, I say that, and he immediately dies. Cannon just going to get in there and poke him. And now Peyz doesn't have a health bar. He's gone. That's a double kill for Ruler, including the turret on top of it all. And that'll be game 1 in 25 to 26 minutes. As Chovy just padding those damage numbers. Gen.G make it look so easy as they suffocate T1 out of game 1.
And I think Gen.G looked out of sorts in that KT match. It was a huge performance from KT.